Hi everybody and welcome to today's workout. This is FitBryn. My name is Brenna and I am so happy that you are here today. Again, I'm just going to let it flow. So something that I wanted to chat about today was PMS and PMDD. PMDD stands for premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Now, I have never been formally diagnosed, but genuinely for such a long period of time in my life, in all of my journal entries, I keep writing down, Brenna, don't forget that your PMS sucks ass and that you are not yourself on your period. Be kind to yourself. Don't trust the thoughts that you have, which I know sounds a little bit weird, like don't trust yourself, but like when you're PMSing, I feel like the demons just come out. I don't know if you're anything like me. Like I don't get a ton of cramping, although sometimes I do. Like I don't get a ton of physical symptoms. I don't get headaches, anything like that. I feel like my cravings have also changed as I've just naturally kind of stepped away from sugar. It wasn't something that I super tried to step away from. I genuinely felt that I had a sugar addiction in the past where I couldn't go a day without having a treat or something sweet. But as I've mentioned on other podcasts, my partner and I went on a 3-month van life road trip. When you're on the road, you just start eating like the meals that you buy from a grocery store. Like, of course you buy some snacks, but you're just not really thinking about like, where's my dessert gonna come from? And I think that just the natural progression of slowly weaning myself off of this dependency has made me really change my cravings, or like it hasn't made me change my cravings. It's just kind of like naturally made me crave sugar and like sweet things less. Don't get me wrong, I still do sometimes, but it's just not to the point where I feel like it controls me. And so yeah, I don't feel like I get crazy cravings, but something that I do know that I get is just like wild ass mood swings. I can feel okay for maybe a few hours and then I'm back again to feeling super low, super insecure, super self-critical, super in the dumps, you know? And I feel like it's this like unshakable feeling. I feel as though this alien has taken over my body and I can't do anything but cry and feel like horrible about myself and attack myself and compare myself. Just really not nice stuff. And getting out of that reactive like demon place has been very difficult for me, but something that I have really wanted to commit to, because I don't think that what comes out when I'm PMSing is just in relation to the PMS. Like obviously the symptoms are on crack, but I think that they are things that needed to be healed even before the PMS started, you know, like the insecurities that I have, the mood swings that I have, how I can go from feeling super low, super small as a human, like I'm totally forgetting my worth, like I don't even know what I like or what I want. I don't even know what I need to do for myself to feel better in that moment. I kind of start to become super codependent on my partner, super anxiously attached, and also very needy, like expecting him to fulfill me or to meet my needs or to like mind read in an instance of, you know, giving me more reassurance and validation. And I'm by no means villainizing the need for that, because I think it comes from like a very like honest and vulnerable place for a lot of women, you know, like you feel so awful and you don't feel like yourself, like your hormones are fucking all out of sync, you're raging, you're probably bloated, you're maybe judging yourself, your hunger cues are different, your sleep cues are different. Like of course you're gonna want validation from an external source, whether like if you don't have a partner, whether it's from friends or like you're on a dating app and you want guys to swipe on you so that you feel better or whatever it is, you know, that external validation, like I totally understand where it comes from, but I don't actually think that receiving it is the solution to your problems. It's the same kind of thing, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. I know like anxiety and like depression medication helps for a lot of people, but my personal opinion and take on it, and again, this is just mine, that like those things can help mask symptoms, but I don't think that they actually get to the root of the problem, which is potentially, I mean, likely so many different factors, but like a lack of self-love is something that I can see as being a very common factor between those things, and also people not having maybe as much emotional regulation or awareness of themselves, or feeling stuck, but also like judging themselves for where they are, like all of these kind of insecurities that arise, and maybe emotional overwhelm at the state of the world. Like there are so many factors that go into these things, but I'm just saying that like medication is not like the only solution for these things. That's why a lot of people recommend therapy. So going back, what was I saying? Okay, so this is what I was saying, that you are wanting validation, but that's not actually going to solve your problems. It's about you finding that peace and that love in yourself to be able to soothe your own emotions, for you to be able to tap into what you really need and for you to meet those needs. Whether it's like, you know what, because I can only use these examples because I'm in a relationship. I know that this is my lifelong partner, but that he could be wanting to do something, whether it's like going for a hike, going out with his friends, doing a particular activity. And I think I definitely fall prey to this when I'm not PMSing, but I often like compare what I do to what he does. Like if he's going out and having fun, I need to think of how to have fun in my life. Or if he's relaxing, then I'm going to relax. I don't really often think for myself in terms of, oh, he's working right now. Do I want to work? No, right now I actually want to like paint a picture or read a book or allow myself to just do something that's different from him because it's what I want, or vice versa. If he wants to relax but I want to work, I should also have the strength to be like, you know what, you do your thing, I want to do my thing. But that is something that I definitely struggle with because I don't have that sense of wholeness and completeness within myself. Like I often just abandon myself and I don't even realize that I'm doing it. Like that just genuinely sneaks up on you, and then of course you're going to be more reactive to other people. Of course you're going to let what they think or what they say or what they don't say or what they do or what they don't do affect you, because you have no roots within yourself. Think of yourself as like a tree with roots, and you've just been planted. You've been there for 30 days. Roots don't have enough time to fucking go down deep in the soil and to really clench and grow and get bigger and stronger, you know? Like it takes time to develop that sense of self and that sense of compassion and that sense of love for yourself. And there are obviously trees that they've been planted for like 10 years plus, you know? We'd love a sexy old growth tree that's been there for thousands of years, and that shit is not going anywhere. That thing is so solid, it knows itself, yada yada, you know? So I think that's something that I'm really working on, and that I'm aware that my PMS and like potential like PMDD symptoms show me, is that I don't have that rootedness and that self-love within myself. And so all of my emotions and my emotional reactivity that come up during this time is just an opportunity for me to really heal the things that I need to heal. But I think in order to get there, in order to have that realization, you definitely need to start navigating skills like self-awareness, emotional regulation, meditation, and just how to keep it real with yourself, to allow yourself, so this goes into the emotional regulation piece, to allow yourselves to experience emotions, to experience limiting beliefs, but to not allow those become then your identity and who you are, because then you start to freak out being like, oh my god, like I just suck as a person, I'm insecure and I'm feeling so small and I just like don't believe in myself, you know? No, you just have to allow yourself to be honest. Like, yes, I'm feeling insecure right now, I'm feeling super small. I'm gonna not judge that. I'm just gonna let that be. I'm gonna let myself ride the wave of that emotion, because emotions are like a curve that goes up, but they also come down, you know? The hardest part is in riding the emotional wave all the way to the top, but then you're gonna get through it, you're gonna be calmer. And that always happens. Like, there's probably been a time in your life where you felt so incredibly angry or so incredibly hurt, but do you still feel the exact same intensity of that emotion back in the time when you did originally feel it? No, you know, emotions shift and they change depending on like whether or not you look at it or not. There are some people that like carry the bitterness of their divorce or their breakup through their whole lives, and fair enough, like sometimes like you don't actually do anything wrong and that person like genuinely slighted you, but you're the one that's paying the cost for that, you know? Like you're the one that is suffering because of that. So I think something that I really learned from like just horrible outbursts of like reactivity and feeling like I was so incredibly depressed and that I couldn't get better. Sometimes I felt like I didn't want to, like, I know it sounds very extreme, but I have moments where I'm like, there's no hope for me. I'm never gonna get out of feeling like this. It's hopeless. I don't want to be here, you know, like it would just be better like if I just didn't exist right now. Like really like horrible, super heavy thoughts, you know? But the thing is that like me saying this now, like I completely feel differently, you know? And I know that, emotional regulation is a journey and it takes time. So you also have to be compassionate with yourself and you have to be kind to yourself. And don't get me wrong, like even over the past 2 days, like I've definitely felt super up and down with my emotions, but like the lifeline that keeps coming back to me is when I allow myself to keep it real with myself. But in order to keep it real, i.e. to wade through the bullshit, you need to be able to be more calm and to be in a space where you've allowed your emotions to pass. You can't do any work when you're feeling insecure, fearful, angry, guilty, ashamed. Like you can't do any work in that moment, And so meditation, but like genuine inward meditation with the self, a lot of silence, a lot of like tuning into your breath, a lot of like body scans, maybe sometimes like visualizations, like you're envisioning this light that starts at one point in your body and then it kind of envelops the entirety of your body. And just like a little, not a shout out because I'm not sponsored, but hey, I would love to be sponsored so that I don't have to pay their subscription price, is Headspace. That's really helped me to learn the basics of meditation and also to keep up an accountability with it every single day. But even if you don't want to download Headspace, there's a lot of like YouTube programs that teach you the basics of meditation, but then I would highly recommend you start to do those meditations on your own, like sitting in silence, because it's about you being comfortable with yourself, not needing someone else to spoon feed you all of the answers and how you should be feeling, I was doing that for a long period of time. I was like relying on guided meditations to make me feel a certain way. And like, I'm not saying that they don't work. They definitely work, but I don't think that they actually give you skills to genuinely be with yourself. So what I would say is your PMS is telling you that you are in desperate need to be with yourself, to love yourself, to be kind to yourself. If you want to be quiet and you want to be more still, you don't want to do as much, you want to stay at home, you want to paint, you want to journal, like just allow yourself to do that, And if you start to feel insecure thoughts and you start to feel resistance to it, again, just allow the insecurity to be there, to be like, I'm feeling insecure. Am I an insecure person as a whole forever? No. Am I really recognizing that right now I'm really noticing the insecurity demons? Yes, but you want to know why? Partially why you're recognizing them so much is because you're also tired of the bullshit and you're like, I don't want this to continue. So it's not the fact that you're like more insecure than you were before, it's the fact that you have way more awareness of yourself and how you're showing up, and you're also refusing to let those narratives take place. But don't get me wrong, it's incredibly difficult, it's incredibly uncomfortable, you're walking into unknown territory. Your brain has been predisposed to just like literally be so comfortable with negative programming, to feel shitty about yourselves, to doubt yourself, to feel insecure, to feel like a victim when you've like made a mistake or when certain situations happen to you, and also to like maybe feel ashamed of your emotions. Like that's all stuff, I'm like basically talking about myself, but that's all stuff that I have wired so well into my brain. But I am very aware that just because the work is uncomfortable and it can feel super emotional and super hard and I can doubt myself, doesn't mean that I'm going in the wrong direction. Actually, quite the opposite. I'm going in the right direction, but I'm moving into unknown territory and like creating different behavior patterns. Like, of course it's going to be weird. It's not actually going to feel good. Just like having a healthy partner doesn't necessarily feel good. You're actually like question like, what the fuck is going on? They're too nice, or like, am I bored? And it's because you're used to the toxicity maybe of like the anxious avoidant dance or what have you, So just because something feels uncomfortable and it feels challenging does not mean that it's the wrong thing for you. So just continue that, be kind to yourself, and continue engaging with the work, because eventually you are going to get there. And so a little piece, like now that the emotional regulation part is done, something that really helps me is to like keep it real with myself. It used to like incredibly frustrate me because my partner is an engineer. He's incredibly logical, but he's also emotional, but like he has such a good handle on his emotions. He never gets consumed by them. He never loses his temper. And he's like, you know what, if I feel something, challenge yourself. Why are you thinking that? Do you have any data to back that up? If yes, okay, what's it telling you? And if not, no, then like cut the bullshit with yourself and stop fucking like feeling like a victim or that you're getting sucked into this experience when there's literally no data to support it. And so I think sometimes, like for me, especially when I'm PMSing, I can start to feel this emotion and then I therefore think that it's true. I'm like, well, my brain couldn't possibly trick me. into making me feel like I'm insecure for no reason, or that my partner doesn't love me for no reason. There has to be data. But the thing is that like we're primed Homo sapiens, like evolutionary, like our brain wants to look out for risk, and like it's always going to be fearful because it wants to survive, right? So it wants to kind of control the security and safety, and it also wants to always be aware of what could possibly destroy or disrupt the balance. And you have to understand that that's like the evolutionary mechanism of your brain, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's productive or helpful for you in today's world. And so something that really helps me once I've calmed my emotions is to ask myself where the data is to back up my like limiting belief or my like fear or my insecurity, and also to challenge myself about that. If there's no data, then it's like, okay, well, it doesn't exist. So therefore, Brenna, like you are good and you are fine. You have yourself, and this is not true. Just because my partner didn't like come up to me and embrace me and hug me doesn't mean that he doesn't love me, doesn't mean that the passion is gone from our relationship, doesn't mean that he wants someone else. Like that's all narratives that I'm making up in my brain to just like almost pave the way for me to be okay if that were to happen. But the thing is that like me feeling that way is actually much more likely, like me being fearful of him cheating on me and like being insecure all the time is much more likely to actually make that outcome happen, because I'm showing up in a shitty way. I'm not being myself. I'm not owning myself, you know? So I think that such an important thing is to challenge your beliefs, look for the data, and if you can't find any, you have to draw that line with yourself, and you have to be tough about it of like, no, this does not exist. I'm not going to accept this. So keep it real. Don't accept the bullshit, because your brain is playing tricks on you, and remind yourself that what you're thinking is not necessarily reality. It's not about not trusting yourself. Give yourself compassion, but be like, you know what? I'm not in the right frame of mind right now to be driving this car. I shouldn't be driving right now. I'm drunk mentally. I'm PMSing. I'm drunk. I can't drive. So let me just like chill out, let myself calm my emotions, and let myself figure out where's the data to support my hypotheses. So that is my advice for today. Thank you for engaging in this workout with me. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, help me build this community of strong women engaging in the dance of self-love. And I hope that you have a great day, and I can't wait for you to join me in the next workout.